Okay, good day, guys. Alea Stanley on the line. I want to redefine an individual. You know, um, in our interaction with people and in our activities in life, we just use the word individual without taking into consideration the actual definition of what it means. An individual is not just a person. Rather, an individual is a person that has actually stepped on a path of growth in life. That is psychologically speaking. Because the word individual is not just a mundane word, it's a psychological word. So basically, an individual is someone who has understood certain things about himself and has stepped on a particular growth path or model. Now, an individual is divided into two sections. We have the theoretical and the practical aspect of it. So, in a short form, an individual is someone who has mastered himself. That is, this person has been able to control the internal forces working for or against him. What do I mean? As human beings, we all have forces working inside of us. Forces such as our thoughts, our aspirations, our desires, our strength, and our weakness. Now, these are forces that are capable of tearing us apart if we don't manage them properly. So an individual first has learned how to manage these internal forces. Then secondly, an individual is someone who is able to tap into his greatest source of motivation or inspiration from within. What do I mean? Every human being is endowed with certain, unalienable rights or certain things that person can do with efficiency or can do to a very great extent that nobody else can do like that person, or the person can do with so much efficiency. Now, one of our responsibilities as individuals is to understand what this quality is, what this talent is, what this gift is, what is calling, if I may use the word, because we've come to understand that there are no accidents in life. Everything is ordered. Hence, everything plays a role in the general scheme of things. What do I mean? Now, you're putting on the clothes, but you're not a tailor. You use a phone, but you don't repair phones. You use a car. Either you drive your car or use the public transport. But maybe you're not a mechanic. Now, these aspects of our life are put in place by other people's efforts or other people's gift, talent, calling, or activity. So, each and every one of us has that thing that we can do exceedingly fine. And when we realize that thing, then we can tap into that energy and begin to manifest the greatness that comes with that responsibility. Because the truth is, that thing is a responsibility that we have been endowed with at creation for us to function with as human beings. So an individual is someone who has realized this, because the sad truth about life is that a lot of us have not realized this thing in us or the reason why we're born. Some of us are inspired by, okay, you want to make money, you want to live a big life, so you do certain things. No, an individual is someone who has realized himself, who knows himself. Then, thirdly, an individual is someone who has understood his role in the general scheme of societal advancement. What do I mean? In psychology, we say that man is a social being. This implies that man cannot live alone. He must live in the community of human beings like him. Now, social in this sense goes beyond mere interaction. Social has to do with impacting the world with the best that is within you. Okay, let me put it this way. If you are walking on the street and you happen to meet somebody Maybe you like him, his appearance or something, or he looks like a gentleman or a good woman or something. And you greet the person, maybe you just wave at the person or you say good morning. The person ignores you. You do repeatedly. The person ignores you. Then Sunday you maybe you say good morning or good afternoon or hi, and the person looks at you and maybe sizes you from up to down like, what is wrong with this one? Now, there's a tendency for you to see this person like, you're not really social. You have an antisocial behavior. Now, social in this sense implies interacting with the world with the best of our ability or with the best of our skills or with the best of who we are in terms of our manners. Now, for us to be able to interact properly with other people using this best, we have to realize the best. So, an individual is someone who has understood his role in the scheme of society and is working towards that. Okay, sorry. That's the second part of being an individual. Okay, yes, because this first part, when I talk about you mastering your impulses, desires, thought, and all that, one, mastering your thought, two, tapping into your greatest source of motivation, which is understanding who you are, then thirdly, understanding your role in the society. These are theoretical, or these are the first step towards becoming an individual. Then the second part of being an individual has to do with actively building your life. Now, what do I mean? When you have discovered who you are, when you have mastered your thought processes, your impulses, your desires, and your negative attitude, now you tap into who you are, you build yourself to become who you want to become. Because in a sense, I define leadership as the ability to create a vision and work towards the achievement of that vision. So you become a leader in yourself. Now you build your dream, you become who you're supposed to be. Now, building yourself is not for your own benefit alone. We have to look beyond you as the individual. You're building yourself in view of creating positive impact in your society. So now let's get it. In the first part, in the theoretical part, we talked about you understanding your role in the society. The second part has to do with you fulfilling that role actively. Okay, so if I may summarize, I said that an individual is someone who understands himself first, masters his impulses, understands his role in the scheme of societal development, then actively plays a role in building society. So let's get it straight. An individual is not somebody like when you see somebody on the road, you're interacting with people, or in your place of work, in your place of schooling or something. An individual is not just the human beings you see there, because some of those people have not stepped on the path of self-growth at all. A lot of times we stop learning in a particular stage in our lives, and somehow that rips us off the qualities of an individual. So a lot of people have not started working on themselves, and such people are not individuals. I'll prefer to call them, I don't want to use a harsh word, but okay, let's just say they are not individuals. So now let's get it again. An individual is someone who is able to master himself, tap into his greatness, and actively uses that greatness to benefit society. So, what does this imply for us? What it implies is that for you to become an individual, you have to do that inner work first. You have to master your impulses. First, you have to recognize them, because sometimes we do not know most of these impulses about us or our thought processes. So you have to know them, you master them, you tap into yourself, then you build society. Because the 21st or 22nd or 24th century, or the future that we look towards is not the future that we will live on our own. We do our things our own self. No. We're looking at the future where humanity has elevated or has grown or has evolved into a more refined being, guided by the principles of community, love, and a better society. Okay? So, be an individual, build yourself, and become the best that you can become. It's an open conversation. If you think something different, or if you have ideas about this, you could put it down in the comments. Let's interact. Let's get to understand each other more, because we're all learners in the school of life. I'm learning from you, you are learning from me, and when we interact or when we discuss, we have a greater knowledge, because they say two good heads are better than one. So I'm not just a teacher, I'm a learner as well. Okay, so drop your comments, and if this video, if you think what I'm saying is okay, maybe share it to those people you think may need it, and subscribe or like my channel and videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.